Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan and the headlines we're tracking for you this Friday evening. The Sensex and the Nifty gain 1% this week despite snapping an 8-day winning streak on Friday. Majority of fund managers polled by CNBC-TV18 see the Nifty above 20,000 by the end of the year. Expect bank stocks to lead the charge.
3, 2, 1.
IdeaForge takes off on the Wall Street. The drone maker lists at a premium of more than 90% from the IPO price, making it the most successful debut in nearly 2 years. The Supreme Court pulls up SpiceJet for not paying 75 crore rupees to former promoter Kalanithy Maran as directed by the Apex Court 4 months ago, slams the airline for indulging in luxury litigation and orders to pay the entire amount. Maran claims the outstanding dues stand at 380 crore rupees. The new Congress government in Karnataka presents its first budget with an outlay of more than 3 lakh crore rupees, increases taxes on Indian-made liquor and beer to raise funds, allocates 52,000 crore rupees to fulfill its key poll promises, including unemployment benefits and free bus rides for women. Skyrocketing tomato prices forced McDonald's to temporarily drop tomatoes from burgers in North and East India. Burger King says it's also facing challenges but keep tomatoes on the menu for now. On a 4-day visit to Beijing, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen speaks out against the unfair treatment of U.S. companies by China, justifying the need to diversify supply chains, but she also cautions against disagreements between both nations worsening the relationship. Twitter threatens to sue Meta over its newly launched social media platform Threads, accuses Mark Zuckerberg of unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets and other intellectual property. Elon Musk says competition is fine, cheating is not. The new platform gains 50 million users in just 24 hours. No relief for disqualified Congress MP Rahul Gandhi in the defamation case over the Modi surname remark. The Gujarat High Court rejects his plea against the conviction order by a Surat District Court, says the lower court order was just, proper and legal. The Congress party says it will challenge the order in the Supreme Court. Well, let's start with the market action for today. The Sensex and the Nifty ended the week with a 1% gain. That's despite declining on Friday. The stock market snapped an 8-day winning streak this Friday after what has been a record-breaking week. The Sensex comfortably above 65,000 despite a 500-point fall in trade today. So does this rally have more legs? Where are the markets headed? A majority of fund managers that CNBC-TV18 polled expect the Nifty to hit 20,000 before the end of the year. Surbi standing by with the CNBC-TV18 poll highlights of 30 fund managers. Surbi.
Well, indeed, Shireen, what a scintillating run the market has seen in the last 3 months. That's April, May and June. So we did a poll to figure out how the second half could be. 76% of the respondents say the market is heading higher in the second half. So the question is, where will the Nifty be? Well, here the majority, that's almost 42%, feel that the Nifty will be between 20,000 to 21,000. The next biggest group, that's about 21% of the respondents, they feel the Nifty could be between 19,000 to 20,000. Interestingly, at least right now, very few fund managers feel that we'll see a mega rally that could take the Nifty beyond the 21,000 mark. That's just less than 10% of the respondents. Let's move to the next one. So which sector is going to lead the market higher? Here the consensus is on financials. 63% feel that it's going to be bank stocks which will take things higher. Autos, now this auto sector has actually already rallied 22% in the first half. Despite that, fund managers feel we'll see more gains in auto, also in FMCG. Interestingly, despite a very weak outlook for the IT sector, particularly in the first quarter, 40% of the respondents say that it can still be a meaningful contributor in the second half of the calendar year. So where will the bank Nifty be by the end of this year, considering the consensus is pretty formidable on banks leading the market? Well, on the bank Nifty, the majority of the respondents say that that index will be between 45,000 to 47,500. 21% actually see it heading even higher. That's 47,500, which would make it to about a 5% up move from where we are. Almost no fund manager is expecting any meaningful correction in banks in the second half. You can see that just 3.6% expected to fall to 40,000. Will we see heightened IPO activity in the second half? The answer is yes. If you're going by the majority, almost 70% feel that we will see more primary market action. And what is the biggest risk? Well, here fund managers say that it is the US recession or a global slowdown, along with geopolitics, which have emerged as the biggest risk factors for the market in our survey. The 2024 general election outcome is also weighing on fund managers' mind, but it's not that big a risk. Tighter monetary policy isn't seen as a big threat either. And interestingly, the street, as of now, isn't too worried about the El Nino impact or the fact that monsoons have been suboptimal in the month of June.
All right, so many thanks for joining us. That's the poll for you. 20,000 by year-end on the Nifty. That is what fund managers are projecting at this point in time. Now, staying with the markets, India's largest drone maker, IdeaForge, has made a stellar Dalal Street debut. The company's shares listing at about 300 rupees a share. That's a premium of more than 90% from the IPO price, and this makes it the most successful listing in nearly 2 years. Speaking to CNBC-TV18, IdeaForge CEO Ankit Mehta said the company's capacity can grow threefold.
Currently, the capacities that we have is about being able to do close to 9 drones a day. And that capacity is only a single shift capacity, right? And then the drone mix, as it evolves, the revenues from the mix can evolve a little bit based on that. But the capacity itself can scale up to 3 times in the same facility, right? Because we are doing currently only a single shift operation. So there is a lot of room for growth in terms of capacity itself in the existing infrastructure that we have.
Well, that's IdeaForge's Ankit Mehta, and Hormuz is standing by with more on IdeaForge's debut and how it stacks up against other successful listings. Hormuz.
It was a bumper listing indeed for IdeaForge, and it's been a while since the market has had this kind of a listing. And IdeaForge listed at 1,303, which was a 93% premium from its IPO price. It closed at around 1,294, 1,295, so around the same as its listing price. And by being a while, I meant that it is the best listing that the market has had in nearly 2 years. And the last one, the last such listing that we had was Latent View Analytics, which incidentally happens to be the most subscribed IPO in Indian history. Now that listed at a 169% premium to its issue price. And just a month before that, in October of 2021, we had Paras Defense, which nearly tripled from its issue price. Now there have been other issues as well: MTR Tech, Tattvachintan Pharma, Happiest Minds, Route Mobile. The last 2 of them in particular, they listed during the COVID year of 2020. Happiest Minds doubled from its IPO price. Route Mobile also listed at an 85% premium. I'd also want to mention Salasar Technologies, which at one point of time was the most subscribed IPO in India. That too also listed at a 140% premium from its issue price. So all in all, it has been a memorable day for IdeaForge, its management, and for those few lucky shareholders who managed to get an allotment.
All right, Hormuz, many thanks for joining us. Now, Reliance Industries has begun the process of listing Jio Financial Services. This after the company received approval from the National Company Law Tribunal for its demerger. Jio Financial Services will bring in treasury shares of Reliance worth 1 lakh crore rupees as capital. And staying with the big stories today, it's a setback for SpiceJet. The Supreme Court has directed the airline to pay the entire arbitral award that is due to Karnataka, Maran, the former promoter of the airline. This after the cash-strapped airline failed to pay 75 crore rupees to Maran, as was earlier directed by a court order on the 13th of February. Karnataka Maran has claimed the outstanding arbitral dues to be 380 crore rupees. The apex court has also come down heavily on SpiceJet for what the court says is luxury litigation. Ashmit standing by with the details. Ashmit, where does this leave matters now for SpiceJet?
Well, their options are increasingly limited. They were hoping that there's some form of settlement with the Marans may take place with this upfront payment of 75 crores. But that clearly did not happen. Keep in mind that on 13th of February of this year, the Apex Court had issued a very clear directions that we're giving you 3 months' time, pay that amount of 75 crore rupees, see if there's some room of settlement as far as Marans are concerned. However, that amount did not get paid up. Subsequently, the Delhi High Court said you have to pay the entire arbitral amount. They challenged that before the Apex Court, and today is when the hearing came up. Justice Chandrachud-led bench was not happy with the conduct of SpiceJet. They did not have kind words to say. As you said, they pointed out that this is tantamount to luxury litigation where well-heeled parties are deploying a battery of lawyers to defeat the order of the Apex Court itself. He, in fact, went on to observe that if the Supreme Court orders are not complied with, there should be consequences. There should be some degree of commercial morality. That's the message that Justice Chandrachud wanted to send out. And with that, rejected SpiceJet's application for an extension in terms of time for payment of that 75 crore rupees, and instead has now said that the arbitral award in its entirety is payable. Now, what does that mean? The arbitral award goes back to 2018 for an amount of 579 crore rupees plus 18% simple interest. Now, it's the interest component that's the significant part here. The principal stands satisfied. 579 crore rupees has been paid. The contention is on the interest component. Marans now claim that an interest burden of 380 crore rupees needs to be paid up by the SpiceJet. So again, more worries here for the cash-strapped airline.
Well, speaking of aviation, Ashmit, many thanks for joining us. Here's the latest in the Go First saga. U.S. engine maker Pratt & Whitney has said it will comply with Singapore Arbitration Tribunal's latest order. The tribunal on the 5th of July has ordered that Pratt & Whitney supply 5 engines to Go First every month starting the 1st of August through December 2023. Pratt & Whitney says it respects the ruling and will comply with the order until it is otherwise modified. It also added that Pratt & Whitney will vigorously defend itself during the merits proceedings where the business and legal issues will be determined and resolved. Akasa Air founder and CEO Vinay Dubey has dismissed reports of cabin crew resignations. In a statement to CNBC-TV18, Dubey said Akasa Air has the lowest attrition rates in the industry and is the fastest growing network across Indian aviation. He added that the airline has 3,000 employees and expects to grow to approximately 3,500 employees this year. The airline, he says, is also on track to start international operations by the end of the year. Let's shift focus now to Karnataka. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah presenting his 14th budget in the state. This year's budget has an outlay of over 3 lakh crore rupees. Of this, about 52,000 crores has been allocated to fulfill 5 poll promises, which include unemployment benefits, free bus rides for women. The government has also increased the excise duty on Indian-made liquor and beer to raise funds. Surabhi Sutaria is here with the details. Surabhi, how will this move impact liquor companies?
That's rightly, as you said, Karnataka state has, increased excise duty on IMFL by 20% and on beer by 10%. Now, this is going to impact all players, United Spirits, UBL, Radico Khaitan and Som Distilleries. Now, analysts estimate that Karnataka as a state contributes to close to 20% of the overall industry volumes, and the price increases that the company will take will be in the range of 20 to 25%. So, volumes could be impacted going forward, but they also say that these price hikes will get absorbed by the latter half of the year. We were joined by Som Distilleries management earlier, and they said that Karnataka is a market of 7 crore cases for IMFL and 4 crore cases for beer, and the companies will have to increase prices by anywhere in the range of 5 to 10 rupees per bottle. He also said that beer players will benefit as the tax increase is by only by 10% versus IMFL, where the excise increase is by 20%.
Taken price increase at the just beginning of the season in the month of the March only. So this is going to be a 5 to 10 rupees a bottle, depending on the price. A premium beer is going to be a 10 rupees expensive, and middle level beer mass segment is going to be around 5-6 rupees a bottle.
Well, that is the impact of the measures announced by the Karnataka budget for liquor companies. We will take a break, but coming up next, skyrocketing tomato prices forced McDonald's to temporarily drop the same from burgers in North and East India. Burger King also says it's facing challenges, but keeps tomatoes on the menu for now. That and more when we return. Skyrocketing tomato prices have forced food chains to consider taking the vegetable off their menus. Prices have crossed 150 rupees across India, peaking to as high as 200 rupees a kg in several areas in Uttarakhand. The master franchise of McDonald's Northern and Eastern India stores have said that they are dropping tomatoes off the menu due to non-availability of tomatoes meeting their quality expectations. So if you are ordering a burger in Delhi or Kolkata, chances are that tomato slices will be missing from the filling. Burger King also says it is facing challenges but has kept tomatoes on the menu for now. My colleague Abhimanyu Sharma joins us from outside McDonald's store in Delhi's Connaught Place. Abhimanyu, so many companies at this point in time in the food business facing this challenge.
McDonald's has stopped serving tomatoes in its burgers. This decision is an interim decision which has been taken by the company in view of the supply chain concerns, which has compelled the company to stop the service of tomatoes. A statement which was released by the company has said that they were unable to get quality tomatoes which could meet its stringent checks. However, this is a temporary decision and the company has said that they are trying to resume the service of tomatoes in its outlets. This decision has been taken while the retail price of tomatoes has touched as much as rupees 150 per kilogram in several parts of India. Last week, the government had said that this is a seasonal phenomena and the government is expecting fresh supplies of tomatoes from Himachal Pradesh to arrive in Delhi NCR, which is going to possibly cool down prices. It remains to be seen how early relief would be there in the offing, not just for restaurants but also for consumers at large who have been compelled to reduce the consumption of tomatoes in their daily routine. Earlier, we had also spoken to several vendors who had claimed that despite a lower supply of tomatoes, there is a double whammy in which several tomatoes have also been spoiled due to inclement weather and monsoons. So clearly a double whammy affecting the supply of tomatoes and has significantly increased retail prices across the country.
All right, Abhimanyu, many thanks for joining us. So tomatoes off menu, at least in the north and east as far as McDonald's chains are concerned. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen met American businesses in Beijing today on day 2 of her visit to China. Speaking about unfair treatment of U.S. companies by China, Yellen said she is concerned about China's latest export curbs. She said China's actions justify America's push to diversify supply chains. Yellen also clarified that the U.S. is not seeking to separate its economy from China's and stressed that healthy economic competition benefits both sides.
In the economic realm, regular exchanges with our Chinese counterparts can help us monitor economic and financial risks, and it can help create the conditions for a healthy economic relationship between our two countries. I believe that's particularly important right now as the global economy faces headwinds like Russia's illegal war in Ukraine and the lingering effects of the pandemic. During this trip, I'm discussing with Chinese officials our respective economic outlooks. As I said in my speech in April, the U.S. seeks healthy economic competition with China. But healthy economic competition, where both sides benefit, is only sustainable if that competition is fair.
Well, that is Janet Yellen in China. Meanwhile, Twitter has threatened to sue Meta over its newly launched social media platform Threads. Elon Musk-owned Twitter has accused Mark Zuckerberg of unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets and other intellectual property. Musk tweeted, and I quote, "Competition is fine, cheating is not," end of quote. Meanwhile, the new platform has gained 50 million users in just the last 24 hours. Karen So is here with more. Karen.
Meta shares have touched a 17-month high after more than 30 million people signed up to its new Threads app. Analysts are optimistic about the advertising potential if it can achieve sufficient scale, although the app currently doesn't carry ads. It's thought to be easy, though, to bring across some of those advertisers, given that Meta already knows who the customer is on its existing platforms. Now, Twitter, though, is threatening to sue Meta over its new app. Elon Musk's platform alleges that Meta breached its intellectual property rights when it launched the new micro-blogging app. In the cease and desist letter, Twitter lawyers claimed that Meta now employs dozens of former Twitter employees who have access to confidential information and trade secrets. Meta declined to comment on the letter, but the company's communications director, Andy Stone, responded on Threads, branding the employee accusations untrue.
All right, Karen, many thanks for joining us. Now, venture capitalist Vinod Khosla, who's an active user of Twitter, is also planning to join Threads. Speaking at the money-controlled startup conclave, he said that there are great learnings from both Twitter and Threads. He also shared his views on the funding winter and the road ahead for Indian startups.
What do you make of the cage fight between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg? Who's going to win that one?
I don't know about that, but the more important fight is between Threads and Twitter. I think that'll be the determinant of the winner.
You've actually cued me to my next question. Have you joined Threads? And are you going to leave Twitter?
I'm not going to leave Twitter, but I'll probably join Threads too and be active on both. They're great learning platforms for me. I learn a lot from those threads. The funding environment is hard, but all that means is your competitors are also not getting funded. And so the capital efficiency of your startup, how much money it takes to build a startup, will be a lot less. So capital efficiency in startups will go up. Also, with all the layoffs, for really good entrepreneurs, it's a perfect time to hire. I keep telling our entrepreneurs, hey, fire the bottom 20% of your company and rehire them because the potential pool of employees is very large. So that's an optimistic view of that. COVID especially has created a huge opportunity for India because everybody is trying to get out of China or not be dependent on China. India has the right population, right demographic, much younger population, very well-educated population. So India is in best position to take advantage of all the global changes that will come from the COVID events and the Chinese management of COVID.
Well, that is Vinod Khosla speaking there at the money-controlled startup conclave. And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Business 360. Thanks very much for watching. Do stay tuned to CNBC-TV18. Our Friday special Editors Roundtable is up next.